Okay. Uh, I'm going to start the State Environmental Advisory Council meeting. Today is April 14th. It's 1 p.m. Hi, Rachel. We're just about to introduce ourselves. I'll go first. My name is Dawn Hager Nordblom. I'm the chair of the Environmental Council. I'm sorry, Environmental Advisory Council, and I'm on the island of Maui. And if members, if you can please introduce yourselves, and then members of the public, please introduce yourselves as well. You can go, Mark or Michelle or Gordon.
Okay, I'm Mark Gordon, and on the Big Island of Hawaii.
Thank you.
Michelle Lefebvre, exemption chair on Big Island also.
Thank you.
And Rachel Sprague calling in from the island of Lanai.
Thank you. I see we also have Ashley Aubrey, Ron Terry, and Renee Umberger. If you guys wouldn't mind introducing yourselves for our minutes and the meeting.
Yeah, I'm Renee Umberger with For the Fishes, a Maui-based nonprofit.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ashley Aubrey. I am an attorney at the Native Hawaiian Legal Corporation. We submitted comments on one of the items today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Ron Terry. I'm calling from the island of Hawaii, and I'm just a member of the public.
Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. Is there anyone else on the line? I don't see anybody except for ERP staff. Did you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. I'm Mary Alice Evans, Director of the Office of Planning and Sustainable Development and staff to the Council.
Tom Eisen, Senior Planner with the Environmental Review Program of Office of Planning and Sustainable Development.
I'm Isabel Scholes, and I'm also staff with OPSD.
Aloha, I'm Yokepa Frederick. I'm a Hele Imu intern at Environmental Review Program.
Aloha, I'm Daniel Pham, member of ERP staff.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone introducing themselves.
We have a member of the public here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Aloha, my name is Kylie Wager Cruz. I'm an attorney with Earth Justice. Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Okay, we're going to move to review and adoption of the minutes for March 3rd, 2016. Does anyone need more time to review the minutes, or have you reviewed them already? Yes. Mark, did you review them, or did you need more time?
No, I reviewed them, no problem.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of March 3rd, 2026?
A motion to approve the minutes?
Yes. Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, this is gonna be a quite.
We need to vote on them.
Oh, sorry, I always forget that. All in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. Unanimous. And I will note that Jay Stone is unavailable is not going to show up at this meeting since he's out of island. Okay, we're going to go to item number 3, adoption of time limits on oral testimony. This is very new. We do have on the bottom of our agenda that people who testify have a limit of 2 minutes per agenda item. However, I don't know if the EAC would like to adopt a formal policy to set reasonable time limits, since we're going to be having the rules for DBED coming up, which we will have to review and listen to testimony. So the Office of Information Practice recommends that the boards adopt a policy, and it's documented, so that's why it's on the agenda. And there's a time limit right now of 2 minutes. And I think I would like to know from the EAC if you'd like to have more time, or if you think 2 minutes is fine for a discussion. If it's such an agenda item as, later today for the exemptions, or, the rules coming up in the future. So leave it open to Mark or Rachel or Michelle.
So to clarify, this would be a policy? Is that what you said, Don? or what's the term if we adopt a time limit?
I think we're going to say 3 minutes max for testifiers, and I think that would be our policy going forward.
So it would be a policy, I think.
I think so. I don't. It's not like a rule or
Yes.
or else. It's more like a. I don't know if it's considered a guidance, but I think it's more. I think it's an adoption of a formal policy. That's how it's stated in other board agendas, and I think it's reasonable to ask people. You know, people are sometimes very passionate about what they're talking about, and you know, they like to make their points, and that's fine too.
I think, Dawn, I think 3 minutes would be good. I've been to a lot of other ones, you know, like HOA and other county meetings and so on, you know, and I think 3 minutes is reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a public process, people should be given the opportunity to speak. 2 minutes is a little bit on the short side to get almost any point across. And I think, yeah, sort of a guideline or policy of 3 to 5, 3 minutes generally turns into 5 minutes, which I think is also totally fine if there is a high volume of speakers, asking folks, to consider their comments first so that it can fall into a 3 minute time frame is reasonable. But I'm rarely in favor of cutting folks off on the word. But I think a policy of asking folks to stick to 3 minutes, knowing that it's often a little bit longer, is reasonable.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, I agree. I agree exactly.
Yeah. I think 3 minutes for somebody who's very passionate is a very short amount of time, and I hate to see people get cut off. And I'm actually fine with letting them, communicate their intent. And I think that's what public discussion and public communication is about. Okay, so I think we're all in agreement that was it 2 minutes or 3 minutes that we're looking at?
3.
3. Okay, so I think that we will have to amend our agenda going forward in the back to say 3 minutes. And then I believe that we have to make a motion. Is that correct? For this, if it's a policy, I'm not sure if we're doing a vote or if it's just a policy that is set in stone. Other boards have made it a actual vote and a motion.
Oh, please vote on this. Just make,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, that is Allison Cotto, our deputy AG, assigned to the meeting. Okay, so can I please get a motion to allow for a reasonable time limit of 3 minutes on oral testimony by members of the public on each discussion or action item?
I move to accept the policy.
Okay, and then do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and then all in favor or all opposed? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let me know if I missed anything there. Okay, moving on to item agenda number 4. Michelle is the head of exemptions committee, so we'll go ahead and we'll hand it over to you.
Great. We have 3 exemption lists that have just finished public review periods. The first one on the agenda is DLNRs. The comment period ran from February 23rd to March 10th. 3 comments were received during that time period. DLNR was unable to attend the call today. Also, we have requested that they include us when they have provided or drafted prepared responses to the comments received. And I emailed Zach King on early at the beginning of April to see if there was an update before this meeting, and there isn't. DLNR has not written those responses yet. So at this time, exemption committee can't move forward with an action on this list until we see that response from DLNR. But I know there are folks from the public here, and I would like to give them an opportunity to comment on that list if that's or any other list. So Don is the best place to do that, down at agenda item 7, or would now be a good time.
Uh, Allison, I might ask you to
No.
step in. Okay. Please provide testimony. Perhaps the woman sitting with ERP staff would like to go first, and then we'll go with Ron, Terry, and Ashley and Renee, if that's okay.
And I'm making an assumption that folks here are here for the deal on our list, but I know that Earth Justice and Native Hawaiian Legal Corp both provided comments on the deal. So I'm making that assumption, but it could also be on HHSC's list or on DWS's list. So apologize if I made an incorrect assumption.
Sure. Should I go ahead?
Sure.
Okay, great. I'll keep this well under 3 minutes, I think. My name is Kylie Wager Cruz. I'm an attorney with Earth Justice. We've represented communities from throughout the Pai'aina on issues relating to aquarium extraction as well as water diversions issues. So we had some comments along those lines. You have our written testimony and we stand on that. But with respect to Type 4, Part 1, number 21, which seeks to exempt ongoing activities, we ask that this exemption be amended to only apply to non-extractive ongoing activities. And this is essentially a problem of cumulative impacts. So if you have something taken from the environment year after year after year for decades or even a century, there's going to be a cumulative impact that needs to be examined through an environmental assessment or an environmental impact statement and should not be exempted. With respect to Type 8, Part 1, numbers 6 through 8, here we have a fit problem. So this exemption, this category of exemptions is really designed for administrative activities. So it's things like buying staplers and paper clips and training your employees. And so exempting land use transactions does not appear to fall within the designated category. With respect to numbers 6 through 9 in particular, we have a problem of overbreadth. The proposed exemptions seek to wholesale exempt a wide variety of land use transactions, but those exact land use transactions fall squarely within HRS 343-5A, which is the triggering category. HEPA and at the state level was primarily designed to look at impacts for land use activities. And so exempting this wide variety of transactions subverts the purpose of HEPA to look at the impacts of those. There should be some sort of limiting principle when you're looking at these types of transactions to ensure that the exemptions would apply to only minor activities and not large scale land use transactions like military leases that are highly controversial and in the public eye right now. And then finally, with respect to DLNR's responses to our comments, we'd like the opportunity to see them. So if someone could just clarify at some point during the meeting how we get a copy of those, we'd be very interested in taking a look. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you.
And just to interject, we haven't seen those.
Yeah.
That's why we're not taking
exactly.
action today. And
when they become available.
Okay, perfect. And I guess I should clarify the role of EAC and the exemptions committee in the review of agency exemption lists. So our role in the process, as it states in 11.200-1, is that if an agency prepares an exemption list concurrent with the rules that the exemption committee for the Environmental Advisory Council will review the list. Essentially, we're a good housekeeping seal of approval or review when we if we concur with a list. It's a concurrence. It's not an approval of the list. That's not our authority to do. So essentially, we're here to help folks, agency and both county and state, comply with the rules and sort of help the rules or help the list, work for each agency and the types of projects that they do. Take a minute to clarify that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, I believe Ron Terry said that he doesn't have anything to mention at the moment, but so I think Ashley, would you mind giving your testimony? Thank you.
Sure. Hi, Ashley Aubrey again. I don't think I have anything else to add. I think Kylie and Earth Justice said everything we said, probably better. So yeah, just rest on the comments that we submitted and appreciate the opportunity to be here. So thanks.
Thank you very much. And Renee Umberger, I believe you're up.
Yeah, hi. I think I'm going to go ahead and summarize my testimony because I have something to add that Kylie did not mention. So I'll begin. I'm Renee Umberger, Executive Director for the Fishes. For the last 18 years, we've worked to protect Hawaii's unique, fragile, and essential coral reef ecosystems and their marine life from the destructive commercial aquarium trade, which since the 1970s has taken many millions of Hawaii's reef fishes for sale to the pet trade outside Hawaii. General Exemption Type 4, Part 1, Number 21, as written, creates a loophole big enough to drive decades of reef damage through. Commercial aquarium collection has already drastically reduced fish populations across the state. That is the opposite of minimal impact. What makes this especially urgent is that DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources has already signaled how it intends to use this. In its proposed aquarium fishery management rule package, Chapter 13-77.1, the division explicitly defines HEPA exemption as a pathway to approve aquarium collection permits without environmental review. That's a big deal, because it means this exemption is not theoretical. It's being built into a regulatory framework right now to bypass HEPA for a known extractive industry with a long record of harm. And we've seen what happens when impacts are not meaningfully checked. DLNR's own data show long-term depletion of key species, yellow tangs reduced by more than 60%, often over 80%, and pakuikui, also known as Achilles tang, driven to the point of emergency closure. HEPA is supposed to be the safeguard, the checkpoint that ensures impacts are disclosed, evaluated, and made visible before decisions are made. Removing that safeguard doesn't reduce impacts, it just removes transparency and accountability. If this exemption is adopted without clear limits, it will be used to avoid environmental review for activities that have already caused significant harm. We urge you to amend this exemption to clearly exclude extractive activities. Mahalo for the opportunity.
Mahalo. I appreciate you coming to the meeting. Actually, I appreciate everyone coming to the meeting and submitting testimony on this matter. So thank you so much. Okay, Michelle.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next exemption list, which is the Hawaii Health Systems Corporation. Again, the comment period ran same time as DLNR, so the February 23rd to the March 10th, and no comments were received during that time period from the public. We had no further comments on this list. So the council, we can move to concur with this list today, if we so choose.
Yes. Great. I think we should move forward.
Okay. And we just need a motion to concur with this list.
Okay. How about I move to concur with the revised environmental assessment exemption list revisions for Hawaii Health Systems Corporation?
Great.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mark. And then all in favor?
Yeah. Well, before any discussion?
Oh, I don't have a discussion. I think
okay.
Andrea's not here on the meeting.
No, there was no action needed from her at this time. So
I think they did a good job. And I think at the end of the day, it's crazy how all these state agencies and public agencies do all this work. And you know, we're all part of a community, so we have to support as much as we can, you know.
Okay, so all in favor of concurring with HHSC's revised exemption list? Don, did your hand up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, it's unanimous. Okay, great.
Thank you.
So I can email.
Sorry, Michelle. Can I ask, did we want anything about the DLNR list or the public comments, or were you sort of deferring that till?
Yeah, there's no action we can take today on that item without DLNR's responses to the public comments. So basically, we reviewed the list, it went out for public comment. Now we've received public comments. So we've asked DLNR, they're going to respond to these comments, and we've asked for their copies of their responses so that we can sort of reconcile the comments received versus DLNR's, responses. Are they responding in, by revising the list? Are they responding, just in writing to address the comments? Once we've seen, I guess, what the resolution is on the comments, then we can take action. So at this point, there's no action that the council should take.
Okay, sure. I saw discussion in addition to, like, I saw there wasn't action, but possible, because so it would be, I guess it's too bad they weren't able to be here, because even without their responses, I feel like I had a couple questions that I think would be helpful to get, I guess, to get some of their thoughts and
I think those written responses will show us, I think, their position on the matter, and then we can have a discussion around it. Okay. And I will certainly let DLNR know, Emma and Zach, that we received oral testimony today, and in addition to the ones that they have in writing. So I'd like to point them back to this meeting recording so they can hear, and then we can discuss it once we have those responses. We can agendize it next month, and hopefully they can attend and we have responses.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would add to that is that since all the lawyers are online, and also Renee Umberger, that DLNR will respond, and we will be able to agendize the item for discussion. So that is my hope. Yeah,
because I guess I would be both curious to hear DLNR's opinion, but also curious to have the discussion within the EAC as sort of thinking about advising from both, the members of the public and exemptions of, do we think that, as in particular the two sections that were the subject of most of the comments, do we think that those are sort of in the spirit of HIPAA, not as lawyers, but as, as members of the public in that process? Do we feel like that the public would have enough of an input, or that participation, and enough information being assessed if those exemptions went through the way that they are currently written?
Right, and then certainly that's our purview to have a discussion and advise DLNR. In the end, we don't have a regulatory or a role in the process. So certainly we can raise the issues, we can have the discussion. In the end, it will be the agency, it will be DLNR's decision whether to amend their list in response to these comments, or any other thing they may have thought about, in the process of receiving these comments, right? Whether to revise it or not, and for us to hear that justification, and then we can decide to concur with it or not. Regardless, DLNR can finalize their list. They do not require EAC exemption committee concurrence. They can, by the rules, publish a list without our concurrence.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It doesn't, right. And I guess it's part of the public process, and doesn't protect them from litigation if
in the end they have
you can publish, because you could publish anything as an exemption, doesn't mean that it's legal, I guess.
That's right. They just, presumably, right, they have a process to ensure that from their end. But.
Yeah. Okay. We'll look forward to having more discussion next time.
I'm so glad that we're having this discussion, and for sure, Sierra Club and For the Fishes and Earth Justice and Native Hawaiian Legal Corp, they have put in time and effort, and they, hopefully will get an answer. And like you say, Michelle, we are really more advisory. And so at the end of the day, it really is more of a departmental level thing that needs to be decided or mitigated with the department. Mitigated, not litigated. Just want to make sure that we put that in there.
Oh, sure. And I guess if I could, and I promise I will stop talking. But just that I do think that I think I really appreciate the comments and the thoughtfulness in them. And I think it is very worthwhile to bring up those points in particular for discussion, because the exemption lists, again, the agencies can do whatever they'll publish, but the exemption lists are intended to streamline so that agencies, I used to work for the feds, are not having to do an EA for every single thing. But I also am very recognize that the exemption lists are also not intended to sort of streamline actions that should have a step back and a review. Like an EA isn't completely insane to write if the action isn't that crazy. And so I think that that's a good reminder for all of us. But at least in our role as an advisory council, I think it can be helpful when we can be that voice for members of the public and public groups to just say, hey, maybe this is going to be how it's framed in the exemption list in the long run, but it's worth thinking really carefully about whether an exemption, and any exemption as it's written, is something that truly should be exempted, or whether there should be an opportunity for both the agency to step back and review and for the public to comment on that. So again, thank you for everyone who did submit such thoughtful comments. And I think it will prompt sort of useful and helpful discussion certainly at our next meeting. So thank you.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much.
Michelle, I had a quick question, and I'm not totally familiar with the whole thing too, and maybe Dawn can add on this too. Does DLNR have a time frame to respond? Or is it nothing that requires them to respond by, say, a month or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. Tom, ERP, are you aware of anything?
Nothing in the rules that set up any timeline or really any process.
Okay. So theoretically, they don't have to respond, right? I mean, theoretically, right? If they don't want to.
Well, that's true, but I think it would look bad if they did not respond, I mean, it's an agency, it's a big agency, and, a lot of these activities, whether they're in the conservation district or forestry or aquatics or boating, all have an impact on the environment.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah, so I think it's in their best interest to make comments, to respond.
It's a good question, Mark. Yeah, by regulation, that it's not spelled out that they need to within a certain time frame, or that they need to, or that they have.
Yeah, and I did agree with some of the comments of one of our presenters today from the public about certain things you don't want to just have an exemption list, so you don't have to do environmental impact. I mean, you're right. I know she was mentioning about the aquariums, but there could be other issues too, where they just use the exemption list so they don't have to do the environmental assessment. So yeah, I can see, you just don't want to use an exemption list to bypass an environmental assessment if it's required or would help.
Correct. Okay.
So we took action on item B already. So the HHSC list, we all.
I don't think we didn't all vote unanimously.
No.
I think we were kind of like, we all concur, but I think we still had to vote.
Okay, I got to vote unanimous, but we can do it again.
Okay. I just want to know
whether to concur. We can do it again if you'd like. Chair.
I just want to make sure. So
okay, so
take it back.
We had let's see, I forgot who moved. Don, you moved, and Mark may have seconded.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we voted, and I asked my question after.
Yes,
after we concluded that vote. I didn't want to interrupt that action item. So.
It was a unanimous vote. So
okay, good
there. So then I will contact HHSC and let them know that we just need their final list concurred with by exemption committee today, 4/14, and then they can provide that to ERP in ADA compliant format to be published on the ERP website.
Optimally, they submit it before this Thursday, the 16th, so we can publish it in the next issue of the environmental notice.
Okay, thanks, Tom. I will mention that. She's usually pretty quick in her turnaround. So, Andrew, thank you. So that takes us to the Department of Water Supply exemption list. The comment period for that list ran from March 23rd to April 7th. And I believe no comments were received. Is that correct, ERP?
No comments came to us. Right.
I didn't see any comments come through. Again, we had reviewed the list. They had resolved the questions that the exemption committee had before it went out to the public. So I would like to suggest that we move to approve or concur with their exemption list. Somebody want to make that motion?
Do you need a second? Second.
I will move.
Okay, Rachel moved. Dawn, you seconded?
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, then we can vote on whether to concur with DWS's revised exemption list. Okay, it's unanimous. Right, then I will also reach out to DWS and follow the same process that I described and let them know that Thursday, if they get it in before Thursday, then they can be published. And that's condition.
Thanks, Michelle. Do you have anything else you want to add for exemptions or? Okay. Okay, we're going to go to Mary Alice and director's report. However, I do have to say that Mary Alice can give her report, but we cannot discuss because under OIP and Sunshine Law, there's supposed to be more specifics on the bill numbers or specific director's report. So Mary Alice can present, but we cannot ask questions. So. It's all you, Mary Alice.
Oh, thank you, Chair. So we've reached the end of the subject matter committee's work this week in the legislature. They're mostly hearing resolutions now that don't have the force of law, but urge or support different policies. And then those subject matter committees will be dissolved. And Monday will begin a 2-week period of conference committees that'll be named by the Speaker and the President to resolve differences between the House and Senate versions of bills that have made it this far in the session, that have passed both the House and the Senate and have differences. So we're entering into a period where there'll be quite a bit of discussion on the part of the conferees. Hopefully at the end, they will have resolved their differences and bills will go to floor votes in the House and Senate, and then they'll be enrolled to the governor for his consideration. Now I have 45 days to consider his decision on whether to veto or sign into law or allow to become law without his signature. So we're getting close to the end. And so that's my update on the legislature. Chair, can I move to the second matter on the agenda?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So the Environmental Review Program staff continues to review the August 2019 adopted rules and look for ways to align them with the updates in HRS and to clarify definitions and processes in the rules that have prompted questions and requests for clarification over the 7 years that these rules have been in place. So that's the update for this meeting. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Mary Alice. I appreciate you giving the director's report, and hopefully some of the bills that go forward will help ERP and OPSD and everything else that we need help with. Okay, we're gonna go to number 6, announcements. But I think what I wanted to ask first is I see that every member of the public has dropped off, but if there's anyone in the any general members of the public who are here who want to say anything additional, please say it. I know there's only one person in the ERP room, but I think you've said your testimony. So I'm assuming that there's no one else who wants to have public testimony at this point. So is that, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess I can follow up by phone call, but I don't know how to look out for when this would be placed on the DLNR exemptions would be placed on the agenda again. And I also don't know if DLNR could just go ahead and finalize before you folks have an opportunity to let them know if you concur or not.
That's a great question. And I think that I know our deputy AG is on here, but as well as Michelle. Michelle, what are your thoughts?
So we, I hear your question. So we always publish, right? The ERP always publishes the agenda at least 7 days, as per Sunshine, on the ERP website. So the agenda is available on the website for the next meeting, and we will keep the list on the agenda until we have concurred, if we concur with the list, or DLNR publishes the list. So we can't ensure that they will respond by the next meeting. So I can't, just because we don't have any authority over that part of their response. So
are you looking for the statute where it says that the Environmental Advisory Council is advisory only in capability?
No, I think she's asking, how does she know when we've received the comments? How does she know when we'll be discussing that? And I'm saying you can see it in the agenda if it's agendized or not, but that doesn't speak, that agenda item like this week didn't speak to the fact that we hadn't received those comments yet. And so I guess we can try to be more specific in the agenda if we've received that, at least 7 days prior. Then we can say
well, if the first the meeting date for the next meeting needs to be established, which will presumably happen now, and process-wise, 6 days before that is when we have to publish the agenda that you provide
6 days
to us, and in that agenda, your agenda, presumably it'll be noted if something was received, if a response was received from DLNR, that'll be a linked item in that agenda. So all be revealed prior to 6 days prior to the next EAC meeting.
Right. So
So basically, she'll have to just call.
No, I think we can, if she looks at the agenda, the agenda's on the website. So
on the 27th.
Call. We just know, okay, if our next meeting is May, whatever, then 6 days before you go on the website and you check to see what the agenda says. And if it's got a DLNR response under that agenda item, I think that's probably the clearest.
Is there a regular meeting cadence, or do you set them one by one?
Usually the first Tuesday of the month, but sometimes it has to get adjusted for.
Like this meeting.
Statute. It's whatever we can get a quorum of the members.
So for instance, this meeting, we couldn't meet on this first Tuesday of the month, so we switched it over to this week. But I think your second question was, if DLNR does not respond, was it your question if DLNR, what is the recourse?
The question is, how do we know that DLNR won't just finalize its list before you've had the opportunity to indicate whether you concur or not?
If DLNR decides to publish without concurrence, which they can do according to statute, then we will note that in the agenda somehow. hasn't happened before, but if there's no action for us to be taken, then we will note that in the agenda. Basically, we have received, or the DLNR has submitted. If that happens, we don't know that it will, but should they take that route, we will indicate that in the agenda and make sure to inform at the next meeting.
I suppose if they took that route, they would still submit it to us for
exactly
publication on our website. So
right.
it would magically
it would be public, and then at this meeting we would know
generally there's no announcement that we send out when something is submitted. It happens through this process. The EAC process is kind of the vehicle to let it be known that this kind of action is developing of a agency exemption list being submitted and processed and concurred with.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's never been one that's happened outside of that process, although legally it's possible. So
I don't mean to be suggesting that's what they would do. Yeah, but like you're saying, it's just
technically possible, but
it's technically
hasn't happened before.
Hasn't happened before. So
right.
Okay.
We're in uncharted territory.
Well, we're imagining a scenario, right?
Yes.
We don't have any evidence, any indication that's what they're planning to do. Nobody's said that.
But we are hoping for a response, and I mean, as chair, I would like to see a response, and some, I know that 4 or 5 entities put in, comments. So of course, I think that it warrants response. So that would be my hope as chair. Did you have any other questions?
No, thank you. I appreciate your time. I'm not used to being able to have some sort of dialogue. I've been at the other building across the street for a while. I don't get that chance, so I appreciate it.
No, and I really appreciate you staying, because I think everybody else dropped off. So, it's actually very good that you stayed here, and, we're fleshing it out. So I think it really is probably more beneficial for everyone too, who stayed on in the meeting.
The advantage of being advisory, we can chat it out.
Okay, I'm going to go to item number 6, announcements. So I think the next meeting will be May 5th. Do I have that right? And is everyone okay with that date? And at 1 o'clock?
Dawn, I may have jury duty. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I got to call in on the 4th. You know how it is the day before. You know what it's like. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, they postponed it once. So I've been reassigned to another. So we'll see. But that's the only thing I have if I have to do jury duty. But like I said, I won't know till the 4th.
Okay. Is there a courthouse in Waimea, or is there, you have to drive?
The one in Kona.
Oh, wow. That's a long drive.
Yeah.
Especially to show up. Well, thank you. So you'll let us know, Mark.
I'll let you know. Yeah. As soon as I call in, I believe the night before. So that'd be on the 4th.
Okay. All right. And I think I already mentioned this as public comments. Everyone's already given comments about everything that they need to. So I'm going to close the meeting at today.
So Dawn, we are meeting on the 5th.
Oh, yes, May 5th, 1 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we should confirm with Jay just so that. Right.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking, I don't want to do a doodle poll because, I think that things get lost in the mix. So,
I'll just say that I'm not available on May 12th.
Okay. I'm pretty flexible, Rachel. I think it'd only be you. Mean Mark can't make it and Jay's not there. Then it'd be Michelle, Rachel, and I for May 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's the 3 of us can make it, which I can on the 5th, then we would have quorum. As long as Jay, and Jay or Mark could join. Obviously, we would prefer to have them there, but
yeah, of course, yeah. But I don't envy you jury duty.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any questions, comments, anything else? Housekeeping? Okay. All right. I'll close the meeting at 1:44 p.m. April 14th. Thank you all for attending. I appreciate it.